This video is sponsored by scdkeys.com. They've got great deals on all kinds of games as well as PC software. Specifically, they've got Windows 10 Pro OEM for just $14, so if you go on their site, type in Windows 10, you'll find it available right now. You can buy it, and you can take advantage of the promo code CM1 to save an additional 10%, so you'll be getting it a little bit cheaper. You can decide on your method of payment, check out, and bam, there you go. Now you've got Windows 10 a little bit cheaper. You can also use the code CM2 on games to save 3%, so take advantage of that as well. Now on to the video. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. In today's video, I want to take a look at the Humble Unity Bundle. I feel like the Humble Bundles recently have been a little lackluster, but this one is one of the best Humble Bundles in a very long time. The pay $1 tier is awesome. The beat the average is a little bit high, but very good. And then the top tier of $15 or more is really good as well, so I'll be going over all those tiers. Also, I want to take a look at more RTX 2080 Ti performance numbers that have come out with ray tracing turned on. And once again, the performance numbers are a bit disappointing, but I think if you know what you're getting yourself into with ray tracing technology, it was kind of a formality that performance wasn't going to be all too great even at 1080p. We saw it with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we're seeing it with Metro Exodus, and even though it's early results of the game, I don't imagine that the performance numbers are going to get that much better. And then I also want to take a look at some news that came out a couple of days ago. That's Valve being very aware of all the jokes people are making about them not making any games, and over the next few years, they'll be, quote, doing more things. IGN had the scoop on that, so I want to give my input on Valve and whether or not I think they'll actually be making more games in the future. First up, like I mentioned, I want to take a look at the Humble Unity Bundle, one of the best Humble Bundles in a very long time. The pay $1 tier is awesome. At the very least, I would get this tier because it has a game that I'm a very big fan of in Oxenfree. Oxenfree is one of the games included in the $1 tier, and this game is so great, and this is the cheapest the game has ever been, I believe. I don't believe it was a part of any other Humble Bundles in the past. Might have been a part of a Humble Monthly, but as far as being this cheap, never before, I don't recall. Typically, during a Steam sale, you'll see it for $4.99, but now for $1, you can get this game and a couple other titles. Oxenfree is a really cool game. It's a coming-of-age story. There's some supernatural elements introduced, but overall, a really good story-driven adventure, and a great game to be included. This is a game that I actually did a full review on my channel, so if you want to go back and look at that, I didn't review many games, but Oxenfree is one that I did, and it was a great title. Also, you'll be getting Air Memories of Old, which has a very positive reception on Steam, 85% positive. Don't know too much about that title. Also, you'll be getting Inventory Pro, UFPS Ultimate FPS, and Flow Canvas, so some software to round out the lineup, but that $1 tier is absolutely awesome.
You used to come here a lot as a kid, right? To the island. I mean that's what Ren made it sound like.
Yeah, but I mean...
You used to come here a lot as a kid, right? You used to come here a lot as a kid.
Something's wrong.
The beat the average is high, it's at $11.85, but let's go over what you're gonna be getting. You get Wasteland 2 Director's Cut, which is an awesome strategy game. You get the final station, and you get Last Day of June, which is very well received. On top of that, you get some software in the Realistic Effects Pack 4, Ultimate Game Music Collection, and GameFlow. GameFlow is for visual scripting, so some really cool stuff there. $11.85, however, the top tier is $15, so if you're considering on getting to beat the average, you're only paying $3.15 more to actually hit that $15 tier, and the $15 tier is quite good. It'll be getting you Torment Tides of Numenera, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, awesome strategy game there, and you'll get various software that's valued very highly, including Discover Unity game development from 0 to 12 games, UMMORPG, Heroic Fantasy Creatures Full Pack Volume 1, Universal Sound Effects, and Gaia. And if you're a monthly subscriber, you get $2 of Humble Wallet credit, which kind of goes against Shadow Tactics being in this bundle because I do believe that was a monthly game, but if you missed it, there you go. This bundle is a great way to do so. So as I mentioned at the top of this video, in my opinion, even though I'm partnered with Humble, I gotta be honest, the recent Humble bundles outside of monthly were a little bit lackluster, but the Humble Unity bundle is a real return to form for them. It is very much worth it, and I'll leave a link in the description box down below. Of course, I am partnered with Humble, so I get a little bit of a kickback, but I always try to be as upfront and honest with you guys as I can be. Moving on from that, we've got some performance numbers for Metro Exodus, a game that I'm very much looking forward to. Not going to be talking about the game itself here, just the performance numbers with the 2080 Ti. PC Games Hardware had the rundown of how the game was doing on the 2080 Ti at 1080p. Now, we are a ways out from this game. February 22nd is the release for Metro Exodus, and honestly, I wouldn't be all too shocked if this game gets delayed, or one of those games that's being released on February 22nd gets delayed. If you guys don't know, that date of February 22nd is an insane day for game releases. So honestly, if Metro Exodus gets pushed away from that, I wouldn't be all too upset. But right now, the date is February 22nd, so we're about 5.5 months away. So the game is reaching its finishing touches if it does hit that date. But performance numbers are still a little bit early, but it is getting 40 FPS with everything turned on. That includes the ray tracing technology, which isn't all too great. Shadow of the Tomb Raider was set to get around 30 frames per second at 1080p, and I get why the performance numbers aren't great. Ray tracing, it's demanding tech, and that's fine, but Nvidia used so much of their promotional muscle just promoting ray tracing. Why promote it this hard if performance numbers aren't that great with a top-of-the-line GPU like the 2080 Ti? That's really been the issue with these RTX GPUs, is the promotion of it. I think it's confused a lot of people. Metro Exodus, 40 frames per second at 1080p. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, 30 frames per second at 1080p. That is going to just add a negative stigma to these GPUs. And if you turn all of these features off, chances are at 4K, you're going to be getting really good frame rates. But obviously, people are just going to read the headline. They're going to take what they want. They're just going to see 30 or 40 frames per second. But if you want a newer and higher level of visual fidelity for the game, it's an option that's going to be there. But no, they decided to make all of their promotion around these GPUs about ray tracing, and I think they completely dropped the ball with that, and we're going to see performance numbers continue to come out. Metro Exodus not doing that well. Shadow of the Tomb Raider not doing that well. We'll see how Battlefield does. And you're just going to see top Reddit posts and social media posts being, this game gets 40 frames per second, this game gets 30 FPS at 1080p, mind you. If this was 4K, I think people would be singing a different tune, but at 1080p is really a thing of the past for GPUs of this high caliber, where when you say 30 FPS, when you say 40 FPS, even if you say 60 FPS, because it's at 1080p, that is not impressive, because a 2080 Ti is going to be at the bare minimum $1,000, and that's why promotionally these GPUs have just been an absolute train wreck in my opinion. But yeah, there's my 2 cents on that. And lastly, I do want to talk about an article IGN has about Valve being very aware of all of the jokes people make in terms of them and game development. Now, they do have another game, Artifact, and IGN was at their office in Seattle last week, and here's what they said about them in regards to game development. Quote, "I think we're very aware of all the jokes because all of us lurk all the forums and share them around with each other. Understanding Valve is very complicated because it's just made of all the people who work here. From outside the company or outside any company, you try to personify it as something very specific to understand what that thing is. A bunch of investment we've done over the past few years hasn't really been exceptionally visible to customers playing our games. We spend a lot of time improving customer service on Steam. That was a hard problem, and it took a bunch of people a bunch of time to work on. I don't think customer service is all too great yet, but personally speaking, based on what I've noticed customer service get a lot better. If you throw in a refund request, that's something they'll get done ASAP. I just think had we lost all of that and we got games like Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, Half-Life 3, I think people would be a lot more happy with that. I honestly do believe that at some point Valve is going to get back to making games, and I do have a feeling that if Half-Life 3 was ever made, I know people are just going to start memeing on me in the comments for even thinking that's a possibility, but I do think if Half-Life 3 was made, it would literally be one of the biggest games of all time. I don't think it's going to quite reach GTA 5 numbers. GTA 5 numbers are just so freaking insane at this point. 100 million units, very few games can hit that threshold, but I think based on everything Half-Life 3 has going for it, this is a meme that people all over the world know about. Even if you're not a gamer, you know about the Half-Life 3 meme. You'll see it on various subreddits. Valve is at a point where they don't need to do anything. Steam is such a successful platform that they can just rest on their laurels, have games posted on Steam, take their cut of the revenue, and they'll be good. But hey, if you made a Half-Life 3, if you made a Portal 3, if you made a Left 4 Dead 3, you damn sure are going to be making more money, and why not make extra revenue? And Valve definitely has something if they create more games, a Half-Life 3, a Left 4 Dead 3, a Portal 3, whatever other games they make, there is a lot of potential to make a ton more money. Hopefully we get back to that soon. I've literally been making videos on games like Left 4 Dead 3, Half-Life 3, and Portal 3 since I started YouTube back in 2012, and here we are 2018, we're singing the same tune, but at some point, hopefully before I'm dead, we will see all of these games come to fruition. That's gonna conclude this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, a link for the Humble Unity bundle will be in the description box down below. Check it out. Of course, I get a kickback, so I do appreciate that. Metro Exodus has some lackluster performance numbers numbers at 1080p with the 2080 Ti. Definitely want to hear your guys' input on that. And what do you guys think about Valve possibly making more games? Do you think it'll ever happen? Do you think I'm too optimistic? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys have a request for a future video, leave that in the comments as well, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.